Hello, everyone. I hope that all of you are doing so well. I I received all the homework from everyone except actually just the two people. I texted them privately. Um, but unfortunately, I just couldn't find a way or a good way to mark the homework and send it to you guys. So, because I received pictures and it wasn't actually easy to mark them. So, what we are going to do is that I'm going to answer the homework, explain each question, every single question. I'm going to explain it here in this video very quickly. I hope that it's not going to take so long. So let's start. Um, the first question that we have over here, which says here, write the likelihood of each event and represent it as a fraction 2. Here we have even, chance, impossible, and certain. If you roll a dice, what is the probability of getting an even number? So A here is getting an even number, a dice. The first thing that I need to do is the fraction. The fraction is what is going to tell me whether this is going to be even, chance, impossible, certain, likely, unlikely. So the fraction is the first thing that you need to do. To do the fraction, you need to find first how many options do you have in all. How many options do we have in all here? We have here 6 options because when you roll a dice, you're going to have one of the 6 numbers. One of the 6 numbers is going to happen either 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. So all the options that we have are 6. But A here says an even number. So how many out of the 6 is going to be an even number? Exactly. So it is going to be 3 out of the 6 and is an even number. 3 are going to be even numbers, which are 2 is an even number, 4 is an even number, 6 is an even number. So the fraction here is going to be 3 numbers out of 6. 3 out of 6, isn't this a half? Yes, it is a half. So a half can be 1 out of 2, can be 2 out of 4, can be 3 out of 6, 10 out of 20, 50 out of 100. All of this is just called half. So it's an even chance. All right, the next question here, which is B, a number that is greater than 6. A number that is greater than 6, we agreed that all of them are just 6. So what out of 6 is greater than 6 on a dice? You roll a die, we agree that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The numbers that are greater than 6 are just 0. So it is 0 out of 6 as a fraction. And please, guys, I noticed that you guys write the fraction as like what I used, like what I did in the presentation that we used on our live session, writing it this way. You guys wrote it in the homework this way, which is not wrong. It's not wrong, but I want you to get used to writing a fraction this way. 0 out of 6. Please, okay? So from now on, I want you to start writing the fraction this way. Okay? Most of you in the homework wrote this. It's not wrong, it is correct, but from now on, I want you to use this way of writing a fraction. 0 over 6, we'll write it this way. Okay, good. So here we said is 0 over 6, which is impossible. So it is impossible. Question C, a number that is greater than 0. Well, when I roll a die, I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. All of them are greater than 0. So how many as a fraction? How many of the 6? Exactly, it's going to be 6 out of 6. All the numbers, all the options that I have are greater than 0. So it's 6 out of 6, which is going to be certain. Certain. All right. Here, the next question, an odd number. When I roll a die, 1, 3, or 5. So it's 3 out of 6. 3 out of 6. Which is going to be even chance. It's a half. A number that is less than 4, I have, when I roll a die, I will have either 1 or 2 or 3. The three numbers are less than 4, so it is 3 over 6 as a fraction, which is even chance. So we do first the fraction. It will tell us whether this is the half or 0 or just all of them, which is going to be certain, like here in question C, or less than half or more than a half. So fraction first, then find the likelihood. All right. Now, question F here, it says heads. Heads, when you flip a coin, how many options are we going to have? How many options do we have when I flip a coin? I will have either heads or tails. So all of them are just the two options. How many of the two options is heads? It's only one of the two options. So that's why it is 1 out of 2. So there we said it's out of 6. When I roll the dice, we said it's out of 6 because we had 6 options there. But here, or 6 outcomes, we call them, guys, we call them outcomes, by the way. So here I had 6 outcomes. Here I had 2 outcomes only, either heads or tails. Okay, the second one, just tails, well, it's exactly the same. Just tails is only 1 out of 2 options, which is going to be also even chance. If I say heads or tails, all right, mister, if you toss a coin, it's definitely going to be heads or tails. There is no other option. There are no other options at all there. It's either going to be heads or tails. So it is 2 out of 2. So 2 out of 2, which is certain. So the fraction is going to be 2 out of 2, which is going to be here. Likelihood is going to be certain. A picture of your friend. Well, if I toss a coin, I don't think that I'm gonna find a picture of Mr. Mustafa there. He's my friend. I'm not gonna find a picture of Mr. William or just a teacher or any of my students there. It is impossible. It's 0 out of 2. It's going to be either heads or tails, Mr. Ahmed. All right, good. So heads or tails, no pictures of my friends. So it's definitely going to be 0 out of 2, which is going to be here impossible. All right, moving to the third section. If you have a sack of plastic balls that contains 3 red balls, 2 green balls, and 5 blue balls, before I continue, I need to count the number of outcomes that I may have. The number of outcomes here, well, it's going to be here, all of them are just 3, 2, 5, which makes it 10. So all of them are going to be just a 10. All of them are 10. So J says the probability of getting a blue ball here is going to be what? How many of the 10 are blue balls? We agreed when we rolled the dice, all the options that we have were 6. That's why the fraction was out of 6. When we um, flipped a coin, all the options that we have were 2. So the fraction was out of 2. Here I have balls. All of them are 10. So the fraction is going to be out of 10. 5 of them are blue. So it's going to be 5 out of 10 or 5 over 10, which is exactly the half, which is even chance. The probability of getting a plastic ball, well, they said if you have a sack of plastic balls, so all of them are plastic balls. So this is going to be 10 out of 10. All of them are plastic. So it is 10, 10. And all of them are going to be what? So if all of them are going, it might happen. All of them are plastic, so it is certain. The next one, which is L, the probability of getting a basketball. Well, they didn't mention anything over there about about a basketball. They said 3 red balls, 2 green, and 5 blue, and all of them are plastic, but they didn't mention anything about basketballs. So it is 0 out of 10, which is impossible. All right. The probability of getting a green or a red ball, a green or a red ball, let's add them up. Green is 2, red is 3, so it is going to be 5 out of 10. 5 out of 10 is going to make an even chance in the light. Let's move to the last part here. Janet has 12 wooden beads. 6 of them are square beads. So here they said 12 wooden beads in all. 6 of them are square beads. So don't say, oh, now 12 plus 6 is going to be 18, and I add to them 4 beads, which is going to be 22. I add to them 2, which is going to make 24. All of them are 24, Mr. Ahmed. The fraction is going to be out of 24. Wrong. Why? Because they said Janet has 12 beads in all. This is just 12 beads. 6 of the beads, 6 of them. They didn't say and 6 square beads. No, they said 6 of the 12 are square beads. So my fractions are going to be out of 12. So the probability of getting a square bead is 6 out of 12, which is an even chance. So 6 over 12 is the fraction, even chance. O, the probability of getting a wooden bead is going to be here, well, 12 out of the 12, Mr. Ahmed, are wooden beads. So the fraction is going to be here, 12 out of 12. And the likelihood is going to be certain. P, the probability of getting a star or a pyramid bead. A star or a pyramid bead is going to be, let's count them. Stars are 4. Pyramids are 2. So it's going to be 6. 4 plus 2 is 6. 6 out of how many? Is 6 out of 12. The likelihood, well, it's exactly half, Mr., which is going to be even chance. The last question that we have there, Q, the probability of getting a glass bead. A glass bead is just, how many glass beads do we have there? Well, Mr., they said that all of them are 12 wooden beads. So I have 0 glass beads. 0 glass beads, that makes 0 out of 12. That makes 0 out of 12 are glass beads, which is going to be impossible. Now we've finished checking or marking the homework, and I hope that all of you understand all the questions. If you have, if you're not sure about a specific question or you're not sure that you understand one of the questions, please text me, and I don't mind holding a conference with you in private. All right. This is about checking the homework. Now we're going to learn a new part of the lesson. So we're going to learn about the likelihood again. We took there that the impossible, certain, and even chance. Let's continue now because we have new things that we need to take. All right. We agreed that when it's 0, it is going to be impossible. And when it was just 100%, it was certain. And the half was even chance. Okay, and we agreed that the half is not just only 1 over 2, it can be 2 over 4, it can be 3 over 6, it can be 6 over 12. All of these are just halves, all right? So what if it is less than a half? If it's less than a half, then it's unlikely to happen. If you have a fraction that is less than a half, as you see here on the screen, then it is unlikely to happen. But if it is more than a half, if the fraction that you have is more than one half, then it is likely to happen. It's close to, it doesn't have to be close to certain or close to, even if it's just a little bit more than the half. Like, for example, we agreed that 5 over 10 is a half. If just once it becomes, if it becomes 6 over 10, well, that is more than the half. The half is exactly 5 over 10. 6 over 10 is going to be likely. If I say 9 over 10, it's also going to be likely. If I say 1 over 10, well, that doesn't make it impossible. 0 out of 10 is impossible. It is impossible, but 1 out of 10 is going to be unlikely because it is less than a half. All right, so likely, as we agreed, is more than half. Please, guys, you just need to remember this. More than a half is likely, less than a half is unlikely. Now we're going to practice this a little bit more before I give you homework about the two more words that we've just learned right now. Yes, let's move to this. Here in question 3, it says to you, if you roll a die, let's use the highlighter. I like highlighters. And since the majority of the class is girls, then I'm going to try to use a maybe pink. I can find pink, but I think this is the closest. All right, boys, don't worry. I'm going to use a color for the boys the next time. All right, so here, let's highlight the question. It says, if you roll a die, what is the probability that it may land on a number that is greater than 4? Well, if I roll a die, I'm going to have either 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. But what's the probability of getting a number that is greater than 4 on a die? How many numbers are over there that are greater than 4? All right, greater than 4. It is only Mr. 5 and 6. So there are only two numbers. There are only two numbers that are greater than 4. So it is 2 over what? It is 2 over, how many do I have in all? There's 6. So they are 6. There are 6 numbers on a dice. It can be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, but only two of them are greater than 4. So it is going to be 2 out of 6. So the fraction is just a little bit hard here to move them. Dealing with fractions on this program is kind of hard. Oh, but I guess they have the answers there. All right, I made the answers there. Here we go. All right, 2 out of 6. And the likelihood is going to be what? All right, 2 out of 6. That is less than the half or more than the half or the half exactly. Well, the half is 3 over 6. So this is less than the half. Less than half is what? Unlikely. Less than half is unlikely. Good. Question number 4, it says, if you roll a die, what's the probability that it may land on a number that is less than 5? Less than 5. I have 4 numbers there that are less than 5. So it's going to be, which is 1, 2, 3, or 4. All these 4 numbers are less than 5. So it's going to be 4 over 6. So 4 out of 6 numbers are less than 5, which makes it Is this more than a half or less than a half? The half exactly is 3 out of 6. So 4 over 6 is more than a half, which makes it the likelihood is likely. Good. If you roll a die, what's the probability that it may land on a number that is greater than 0? Here's question number 5. That is greater than 0. Greater than 0, all of them, mister, are greater than 0. 1 is greater than 0. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. All of them are greater than 0. So it's as a fraction, 6 out of 6. And the likelihood is going to be certain. All right. Here, moving into the next end of the last page there, it says to you that Janet has 12 glass beads. 5 are stars, 3 are squares, 4 are pyramids. So how many are all of them? 12. All of them are 12, 5, and 3 and 4. Good. Choose one of the following to find the likelihood of each event. What is the probability that Janet may pick a square bead? Well, mister, we said that all of them are 12. Square bead is 3, actually. So it's 3 out of 12. 3 out of 12. Is this less than a half or more than a half? 3 out of 12 is definitely less than the half. The half is exactly 6. So 3 out of 12 is unlikely. It is 3 out of 12, which is unlikely. Question B. What's the probability that Janet may pick a pyramid bead? Pyramid, it is how many? How many are there? All right, let's choose a boy's color now. Blue, I guess. Okay. 4. Well, let me use the highlighter. Pyramids are 4. 4 out of how many? All of them are how many? They said there. All of them are just 12. So it's 4 out of 12. So question B, the probability that Janet may pick a pyramid, it's 4 out of 12. Well, still less than the half. The half exactly of 12 is 6. 6 over 12. 4 over 12 is less than the half. So it is also going to be unlikely. Question C, which is the last question that we're going to do at the moment. What's the probability that Janet may pick a square or a pyramid bead? Square or pyramid? Let's have a look at this. Well, where's the highlighter? Square is 3, pyramid is 4, so 3 and 4 is 7. 7 out of how many? 7 out of 12. So which is what? 7 out of 12. Well, they have exactly 6 out of 12. 7 out of 12, mister, is more than the half. More than the half is what? Likely or unlikely? Well, we agreed. More than the half is going to be likely. Exactly. Okay. Thank you so much, year 5. I really can't wait until I meet with you guys on our next online session. Can't remember exactly when it's going to be. I'm gonna check my schedule. I guess it's going to be tomorrow, Wednesday or Thursday. Can't remember. Can I check the schedule? Thank you so much, year 5. And there is homework that I'm going to post to Google Classroom. Please make sure you submit it on time, which is maximum tomorrow morning, please. Thank you so much and see you later.